Try one more of these webcam vlogs because I am without my camcorder yet again. Gotta stop leaving it up at school. Okay, so this time I'm talking about a new episode. This is 100 Things to Do Before High School, which is a show I've been meaning to talk about more for a while. It's a show that I think is actually kind of underappreciated, kind of a little bit overhated. This is a show by Scott Fellows, the creator of Ned's Declassified, and it's a pretty similar show. It's about three kids in middle school, similar to the three main characters from Ned's Declassified, getting into adventures. Instead of a guide helps them survive middle school, this time it's basically just it's they try to do 100 really cool things before they finish middle school and get to high school. It's similar, and that's kind of the main criticism it gets because it's like people say it's a ripoff of Ned's Classified, even though they don't understand what the word ripoff means. They think it's possible for a person to rip off themselves, and they think that just because something has some similarities to a previous work, that means the whole thing is just a ripoff. That's not what the word means. It's like if like multiple episodes had like similar plots and stuff to others from Ned's Declassified, you might have a point, but just because the basic plot and characters are similar and setup, that doesn't mean it's a ripoff. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's talk about this one. This episode is called Make Your Mark Thing. No, I'm sorry, it's called Leave Your Mark Thing. I was watching it a little earlier, so here's some thoughts. Like a lot of episodes of the show, this one was another really good, solid episode. I really do enjoy most episodes of this show. I mean, there's a couple that were just kind of okay, and then there was like one that kind of was like really, really good, which I might do its own review. But, it's another solid episode. This one kind of started off a little slow. By the end, I'm like, yeah, this is another, really good one. The episode is basically about how, you see, it's all about the three main characters kind of trying to leave their mark in middle school so that they can be remembered. You got the main character, CJ, who's like the female Ned on the show, the leader of the group, and they got this big wall at their school, and the wall is basically a wall of gum. People chew gum, take it, and stick it on the wall, and they use it to make a wish. And, they go through all this stuff, like where kind of the characters are trying to do this stuff where CJ is basically trying to get the wall from being gotten rid of because one of the teachers there wants to kind of take down the wall because of all the germs, and there's just kind of this whole thing where CJ keeps trying to see the good of him, kind of try to get to the good in him because he's basically keeps, just acting like kind of just like this, evil, like almost like stereotypical villain, where he doesn't seem to have any sympathy for, what this wall means to people, like with their wishes and hopes. And CJ keeps trying to see the good in him, which is all nice and sweet, and it does make her likable, which it gets more into later in the episode. And, her other friends are kind of doing some stuff too, but I think the main focus is the CJ plot. She's a good character, I like her, she's funny, entertaining. I talked about that, actually, when I did a vlog on the first couple episodes of the show. And, this show actually does get a lot of good humor involved with it. Some of this comes from one of the subplots with the character Fenwick, who's basically just a rehash of Cookie from Ned's Declassified, a nerdy black kid who likes techie stuff and dresses nerdy. He's trying to fix the school's water fountain with the sort of help from the school's new janitor, played by Darren Norris, of all people, who played the janitor on Ned's Declassified Gordy, and in the past couple episodes, he's been back playing the janitor here again. And he's actually really funny. He's like this really funny side character. I hope he becomes more of the show, because he's actually kind of different than Gordy, because he's like older, and I don't think he's meant to be the same character. It's not like the show takes place in the same world or anything. But, he's the same actor being a janitor again, and I thought it was just going to be a quick thing in the last episode, but they brought it back here again for this episode. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And it's like, but his character is kind of different from Gordy because he's not kind of just like this lazy goofball trying to catch a weasel. He's kind of a character who seems like kind of one of those guys who's kind of acts like an idiot, but you can tell like there's more than that. He's wiser, and he has a lot of really funny moments in this episode. You got a third plot with, her other friend Crispo, who I guess is the closest thing to being the Mose of the show, but she's actually not really that much like Mose. I'm sorry, he's not much like Mose. He's a different gender, and he's kind of a stupid, and he's not good in school or good at sports or anything like Mose. I don't know. He's he's confident, I guess, like Mose, but he's pretty different than Mose, I guess you could say. And but like I said, the main thing I think I like is the main plot with CJ and the wall, and she keeps trying to kind of get to this guy, and this teacher who wants to take down the wall, trying to go through all this stuff, and this is kind of the way she's leaving her own mark on the school, and let's just say it all ends up in a very nice, touching, feel good sort of resolution to it, and I don't think I'm let's just not say what happens exactly because I don't need to give away too much. But yeah, it's all very nice, and it's able to be kind of nice and sweet, but also at the same time kind of doing it in a way that isn't completely predictable. Let's put it that way. So yeah, overall, another good episode from a really good, live action kids show that I think people should check out. If you can just kind of get past the fact that yes, there are some ways in which it's just rehashing, not ripping off, but rehashing, Ned's the classify as far as the basic characters, and it does do a little bit of these like school show stereotypes, like I talked about in my first vlog on it. If you can get past that stuff, I think it's a pretty good show and worth watching. It's enjoyable, likable, and I like it. So that's all I gotta say, and thanks for watching. Bye.